We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Mem Chesam at Aleph and Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 148a. The Gemara is bringing a statement from Rav Nachman which seems to contradict what Rav Nachman said earlier. Rav Nachman says, Shchiv meira she'amar, if a person on his deathbed, if he says, Tenu halva'asi leploni, give my loan to so-and-so. Here we're talking about a loan that there's no shtar, it's just a milva al peh, and he's trying to transfer it. So halva'asa leploni, that is effective, and now the loan can be collected by ploni, it can be collected by that individual. And here, v'afa gavda lese bebari, here this seems to be true, that this kinyan works even though by a bari, if it was a healthy individual, using a physical act of a kinyan, it would not be effective. Again, Rav Nachman said in the previous summon that if it's not effective by a bari, it's not effective by a shchiv meira. And here it seems to be that it's not effective by a bari, and it is effective by a shchiv meira. And the Gemara answers, Rav Papa Amar, Rav Papa says, Hoel v'yoresh yorsha. The reason why it's different is because an heir can inherit the milveh, and so therefore, since a yoresh is able to inherit, it works by a matna shchiv meira as well. This case would be an exception. And the Rashbam explains, Halva'asi leploni mamon shechayev liploni b'milva al peh. There's a certain amount of money that Ploni owes me, and we're talking here about a milva al peh, there is no shtar, and he knows in Leploni, I'm giving that to so-and-so, he can collect that money, v'yifrim lo halova b'makomi, the borrower will pay him in my place, niskaimu ha'devorim utei halva'asu leploni, so we say that that's effective, and the loan goes to Ploni. V'yavagav debebori lesin, now even though by a healthy person this wouldn't work, de'eno yochel lahaknos lechaveiro milva al peh, person is not able to give over to his friend a milva al peh, to lo etzon, the money is meant to be spent. Ve'in kinyan tovez el b'davar shubein. You can't make a kinyan unless there's something in front of us. And here, that money that was borrowed and that money that's essentially owed, that was already spent. It's just a debt. El imkein milva b'shtar. Now, by a milva b'shtar, that's an exception. Ukagon shemasar lo ashtar, because there it's possible to give over the document. Inami, another way that it can be done is b'mayim et shloshin kedamar begitin. You could do a mayim et shloshin if you have all three parties there, and the person says the money that you owe me, I want to give to him instead. So that could be effective, but otherwise, it's not going to be effective. So again, why does Rav Nachman say that it's effective here by a shchiv meira? And the Gemara Mishani, the Gemara answered, Hoel v'yoresh yorsha lezu hamilva ki'ilu b'reshus. So he, since an heir would be able to inherit it as if it's in his reshus. V'amrinan lekamon, and we're going to say later on, matanas shchiv meira k'yerusha shavir rabbanon. When it comes to a matanas shchiv meira, that's the same as an inheritance. Hilkach kevan di isei b'yerusha, isei b'matanas shchiv meira. Since it's effective by Yerusha, it is effective when it comes to a matanas shchiv meira as well. And the Gemara continues with another answer. Rav Acha Breid Ravika Amar. Rav Acha, the son of Ravika, says, Halva isa bebari. It's not true. By a loan, it is possible to transfer that even by a healthy person. And this is what the Rashbam already mentioned, Uchud Rav Huna Amar Rav, because it follows what Rav Huna says that Rav says. T'yamar Rav Huna Amar Rav, because Rav Huna says that Rav says, Mona li biyodcha. If a person says, there's a mana of mine in your hands, you owe me that mana. T'neu leploni b'mayim et shloshin, and give it to so-and-so, and this is b'mayim et shloshin, all three parties are there. So then kana, again, that is a kinyan, so it's effective by a bari, and that's why it is effective by a shchiv meira as well. And the Gemara continues, who they ask the following question, Dekel liachad, let's say a person gives a palm tree to one person, upeiros of liachad, and he gives the produce from that palm tree to someone else. Mahu, what's the halacha? Mishayir makom piri, when he gave the palm tree to that first person, did he leave the area where the produce grows from, and therefore it is effective what he gave when he gave the produce to that second person? Olo shayir, or maybe he didn't leave the area where the produce grows from, and therefore he's not able to give the produce of this tree to this other person. And there is a machlokas among the Rishonim exactly what is the question over here. Are we talking here about something given by a shchiv meira, someone on his deathbed, or are we talking about a bari, a healthy person who's giving this? But in any case, the Gemara continues, Im tim salomar, now if you're going to say, le'acher lo havashir, then when it comes to giving to somebody else, so he doesn't leave it in order to make the kinyan effective. So la'atzma, so what if he's trying to leave it for himself? Meaning he wants to give the tree to one person, but leave the produce for himself. Chutz mi peiros, if he's saying, I'm giving you the tree except for its peiros, mahu, what would be the halacha in that situation? Maybe if it's for himself, so then we would say that he leaves a remnant of the tree so that he can acquire the peiros. And the Gemara says, Amar Rav Nachman, Rava says that Rav Nachman says, Im timzul lomar dekel echad peiros of la'acher. If you're going to say that when he gives the palm tree to one person and he gives its produce to somebody else, lo have a shiur makom piri, he did not leave the place where the produce grows, and therefore it is not effective. But dekel But if he gives the palm tree to one person, but he leaves the produce for himself, meaning the person who's giving the palm tree wants to retain the peiros for himself, shayir makom piri, then we do say that he leaves for himself the place where the produce grows from, and it is effective. He does keep the produce. And the Gemara says, "My time." What is the reason? Because kol legabe nafshe be'ein yafim shayir. When the person is in reference to himself, he wants to leave for himself, not for someone else, but for himself, the peiros, the produce. So then he does that bi'ayin yafa, he does that generously, and therefore again he does retain the peiros of this tree. And the Gemara continues, Amar le Rabbi Abba Rav Ashi. Rabbi Abba said to Rav Ashi, Anon ad Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish masnin Allah. We learn the above discussion in reference to the teaching of Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, the teaching of Reish Lakish. To Yam Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, because Reish Lakish says, Hamocher ba'is lechaver. If somebody sells a house to his friend, V'yamar lo, and he says to him, Al menashe diyoto hel shali, that I'm selling you the house on the condition that the upper floor is mine. Diyoto hel shalo, so that upper story does belong to him. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Memches Amid Beis.